and Russell Wilson agreeing on a 5-year, $245 million extension that includes $165 million in guaranteed money. That's the third most in NFL history. Here was Russell Wilson after the deal yesterday.
I had an amazing first, decade in my career. The next decade, I'm really excited about. I think that we want to make this a destination location. I think that it's one of those things. We have amazing tradition, an amazing football team. For me, it wasn't really about how much necessarily. It was about how many Super Bowls we can win. I wanted to be here for a long time. I believe this is a marriage, and you want to be here for a long time. And my goal is to be able to finish my career here.
All right, so let's dive into this one deeply. Mike Tannenbaum, you were with me yesterday. Jeremy Fowler here. Dominique, you were with me yesterday when Adam Schefter broke the story while we were on the air. And my immediate reaction was slam dunk all the way around. And then the day went on, Dominique, and I was somewhat surprised to hear a bit of a narrative emerging, asking the question, will the Broncos regret this long and extremely expensive extension with Russell Wilson? What's the answer to that question, Dominique?
Absolutely not. I understand the argument that Russell kind of unleashed with new ownership, first-year head coach, and with out of the structure of Pete Carroll's kind of restrictive offensive philosophy, that maybe he's not going to be the player that he was in the past, and he wasn't playing that well towards the end of his time there last season. I can understand that argument, but I think it's absurd. The game is a football, and life in general is about risk, and this is not a high risk. He's a great player, and right now they've locked him up until 2028, I believe, at 2022 prices. So this is a smart deal for the Broncos. It's hard to imagine a team that's been in quarterback purgatory for quite some time regretting locking up a guy that is a Super Bowl caliber player and gives you a chance in just about every game with that talent that they have around him.
Mike T., if you were the general manager there, would you have had any pause about the deal they did yesterday?
No, because you have a chance to win a championship, as Dominique just alluded to. Look, when you look to your left and your right, it's Patrick Mahomes and it's Justin Herbert. So it's the cost of doing business to play in the AFC West. But with that said, Greeny, from 2024 to 2025, his cap number goes up by $20 million. So they will lose some good players in a couple years when his cap number is about $55 million. That could be Patrick Surtain, Javonte Williams, and that's not ideal. But you know what? Playing quarterback with Drew Lock isn't ideal either. So you get the quarterback and you put as many good pieces around him, and now they have a chance to compete year in and year out.
Yeah, I think the people who are complaining about this deal or questioning it are the ones who have ones who root for teams that have great quarterbacks. Because there are two kinds of teams in the NFL: those who have guys like Russell Wilson, and those who desperately need one. That's the way I see it anyway. And you all know where I come from on all this. What'd you hear around the league after this was announced yesterday?
Well, the key is Seattle here, because, asking around the league, they were not saying let's ride to this contract a year ago when they decided to trade him. They were feeling like we need to rebuild our roster. We're not going to go all in. They knew if they kept Russell Wilson there, they would have had to have redone that deal in a major way. And they wanted to get better in some other areas where Denver said, hey, have you seen our quarterback roster the last 7 years? We are fine with this contract. And they can get out of it down the road. It's not fully guaranteed. So after 4 years, if there's some sort of decline in play, they can move on. They are certainly not expecting that right now.
Fair enough. And look, the fully guaranteed piece of this, I understand that's an important part of this story in the big picture of the NFL. But I still want to stay on the specifics. Dominique, I feel like people are downgrading, underplaying, underrating, and understating Russell Wilson. I still consider him to be in the handful of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Maybe he's not Aaron Rodgers, and maybe that's always been his problem, that he sees himself as Aaron Rodgers and he isn't. But he's only a half a step down, which puts him a full step at least above almost everybody else. How good do you think Russell Wilson is right this minute?
Yeah, I think Russell Wilson is great, but I'm not sure that he is all-time great, which is what we thought he was on the trajectory to be. And we saw what happened to kind of his career, and it's not terrible, obviously, but we thought that the league, and I think he thought that the league was going to be handed over to him after Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers aged out. they never aged out. And then a bunch of young guys showed up and started playing better. Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. And it feels like he's kind of this lost guy in the middle. And I think that he probably has a chip on his shoulder because of it. So we can expect him trying to come out and reestablish himself as one of those all-time greats and kind of take back the league that I think he believed would be his if those old guys would ever hang it up, even though it seems like they're never going to.
Yeah, well, look, Brady is still there, and Rodgers is still there, and maybe sometimes to some degree they give people the wrong impression of what we should be perceiving an old player to be. One way or another, Mike Tannenbaum, there was a list of quarterbacks in the NFL who you say, I've got him, I've got a chance. There isn't any question that Russell Wilson is still on that list, right?
Exactly right, Greeny. And again, the inverse is catastrophic. And you know it being a Jet fan over the last couple of years when you have question marks, or you look at the Colts who go from Carson Wentz and Phillip Rivers, Andrew Luck, Jacoby Brissett. If you don't have that position solidified, you have no chance, especially in the superpowers of the AFC when we talk about Josh Allen and Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes, on and on and on. So at least they have a chance. And he's not ideal. He's a little short. He's 33, but he's won a championship. You can win championships with Russell Wilson. He's probably not top 5. He's certainly top 10. And again, the alternative is you have no hope.
Nick, why are you making that face? Is it because I became collateral damage with the Jets in there?
No, it's more because listening to Tannenbaum talk about how you need these great quarterbacks today, and also listening to him yesterday talking about how people need to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. It just is an interesting juxtaposition or contradiction.
Well,
if you think
we appreciate you watching.
Hold that thought. We will get to Jimmy Garoppolo a little later. Super quick. Does this have a major impact on the Lamar Jackson situation? That's the other part of it, and we'll deal with him mostly later. But the guaranteed money piece of this, what did people around the league say about it yesterday?
Well, the feeling around the league is that Lamar Jackson's going to want stronger guarantees on a deal, which is why.
Time to get up with quarterback contracts. Did Denver do Russell right while the Ravens ruffle the feathers of their young star again? Meanwhile, speaking of young stars, get ready, because tomorrow night could be the coming out party for the next number one. We'll get you ready for the game of the year. And then Dak dunks on the critics. Can his young teammates back up his big words in Big D? All that and more as we get up with you starting right now. We welcome you to another edition of Get Up. We're presented by DraftKings Sportsbook on this Football Friday. Jeremy Fowler is here with all kinds of news and notes, and that's not all. Look at the squad we've got for you together talking football today. Oh, Dominique Foxworth is back making plays. Mike Tannenbaum's got deals. David Pollack is ready to go, and we begin with the game of the night. David was there to see the backyard brawl renewed. Pittsburgh, West Virginia. Oh, a thriller, and it was good to the final drop on ESPN. Pick it up early in the fourth. We're tied at 24. West Virginia's got the ball. First and goal at the Pittsburgh 1. That's JT Daniels taking it home. West Virginia up a touchdown in the fourth. Now we're under 4 minutes to go. Pittsburgh driving at the 24. Keaton Slovis. Israel Abanikanda. Oh, look at the moves. And they're not going to get him. Watch him dive for the goal, and he scores. Pittsburgh ties it at 31. We're less than a minute later. West Virginia's next drive. Daniels, Bryce Ford Wheaton. Hold everything. It's right through his hands, and it's picked off by M.J. Devonshire. And they're not going to get him. Look at the wheels on Devonshire. Pittsburgh takes the 38-31 lead. Later in the fourth, last chance, West Virginia. Wait till you see how this game ends. 4th and 16 at the 28. Oh, it's a miracle catch by Reese Smith. They're going to be inside the 1. No, they're not. Take another look. They overturn that. That's ruled not a catch, and that's how it ends. Pittsburgh wins 38-31. Drama at the backyard brawl. This was a 10-10 game at the half. Things really got going after the break. Teams combined for 49 points in the second half. Each team had 3 sacks in that half as well. Pittsburgh has now won 3 straight season openers. What a start to the college football season. As for the NFL, the biggest news from yesterday.